Yeah, so let's be fair.
Kaluma, he says be fair. He says the country is actually headed in the right direction according to his own assessment. I don't know if you're holding any contrarian view regarding that. Do you hold with what he's saying? Are we in the right trajectory?
Kaluma is a colleague. We went to the same university, University of Nairobi. And he's a lawyer I've held in very high regard and esteem. But I'm totally disappointed to sit next to him and hear what he's saying in defense of the current regime. Dibal, we were in university with Kaluma. We did demonstrations.
No, you were ahead of me.
We did demonstrations. I was ahead of him, but yes, we were in university at the same time. We did demonstrations. I never saw President Moi's regime shoot and kill any student, and they can bear me witness. We were there with Kabando, Munya, Moses Kuria, Mungatana, and the likes. We stormed the city many times, but the government of the day never shot and killed any university student at that time. So to listen to my colleague, a lawyer of repute and high standing, say that the country is on the right trajectory when we are killing young people, 60 of them in 2 months, is a tragedy for the nation. Dibal, I joined this party ODM because I identified with the ideals of the party leader, Raila Amolo Odinga, a man we respect, a man who has fought and advocated for good governance for many years. And we hold him in very high respect. But I cannot come to this studio, and I want this to be on record. I want YouTube to record that I don't agree with the way the government is behaving in responding to demonstrations. Dibal, you cannot be in a country where a man who has carried the Bible and sworn to defend the Constitution and the laws of this country gives an edict to the police telling them, if you find demonstrators, shoot them in the leg first. Take them to the hospital, then on their way, they can go to courts of law. I don't think Honorable Kaluma here, who has a wife and children, would like to see his or her child being shot merely because that child stepped out to register a disagreement with the government of the day by picketing, which is allowed by this constitution. So I'm sorry, Dibal, that I've seen families shed tears. Last week on Friday, we buried a young man from Ekiribugetai Institute who was, the students came out protesting on the poor state of the road between Tombe and Ekiribugetai Institute. And because CS Interior, Murkomen, had given an undertaking that the government will no longer cooperate with investigative agencies, they just shot that young man dead. And the parents who had a lot of hope on that child mourned and have buried that son, and there is no any accountability. As we speak, I spoke today in the Senate. When I left Nyamira today, I went straight to the Senate to speak on a statement that was being raised in the Senate on these extrajudicial killings. So I mean, we cannot join a government and aid that government to throw the rule of law out of the window, Dibal. Even countries that have no repute in terms of being democratic, like Bangladesh. I mean, if I asked you about Bangladesh, you will not stand up and say that's one of the most democratic nations. But back in that country, if you remember last year, we had a number of uprisings led by university students. And the government in Bangladesh slaughtered 1,500 students. Okay? But the law has just caught up with the Prime Minister. As we speak now, there is a special tribunal that has been set up in Bangladesh, trying the Prime Minister in office then the Minister for Home Affairs, the equivalent of our Murkomen, and the Inspector General of Police, because they consider the crimes that were committed to be genocide. You killing your own people simply because they have come out to protest. Dibal, it's not right. And even if you go to very, very advanced democracies, when people come out to protest, it means that they are passing a message to your regime. They are saying they are not satisfied with the way you are leading a country. In the US, when John F. Kennedy died, he handed over to Lyndon Johnson. And Lyndon Johnson made some tactical error and continued the war in Vietnam. He did one term. In the run-up to the second term, Americans were so dissatisfied with that decision that they stepped out in the streets and demonstrated against his regime. When he saw the mood, he actually opted and said, I will not offer my candidature through the Democratic Party to run for second term. So if you are not able to lead a country and win the confidence of the people, Dibal, you can even quit.
He had read the mood.
He had read the mood in the country, and he opted not to go for a